What's up, YouTube? So I want to make a video about the Lynsight video, which I'll link in the description below, talking about fighter Andrew Yang. And I said I would make like a response video or like just some like points that I would like to like express myself, because like I know some people are like kind of like offended by these guys, and I find it kind of interesting because oh my god, I know the Yang gang is so passionate about Yang, and we want to make sure like everybody's positive all the time and like just spirits up, but there is such a thing as like kind of being too much in your echo chamber, that like you can't like think outside and be like, okay, like there are some criticisms that are legit when it comes to Yang and how he did in the debates. And I know it's kind of like old news at this point, but it is relevant to the upcoming debates, not only in July, but in September and like whatever else is coming after that. So yeah, again, the video's in the description below. I'm not gonna go like point by everything, but there are some things that I do like pretty much agree with, even though like I still believe that like, yeah, Yang let's just do this. So first of all, the guys talked about how, okay, like Mike Gates aside, Andrew Yang would have been much better off if he were to just jump up and down, raise his hand, call more attention to him, being like, hey, go over to somebody else's mic and be like, hey, my mic is off, can somebody do something for me right now? And I do agree that like, yeah, it would have been better for him to do that. But the thing is that, oh boy, I know that Yang, I felt that he was already uncomfortable, like, being on that debate stage in the first place. I don't know what happened before, or, you know, whatever. Like, I just felt like he was already kind of like out of his like element, because Andrew, I feel like Andrew is very like, he's a really chill person, and the fact that like everybody he was around people that were so intense, a lot, not even just like the candidates, but I'm sure their management team and everybody else, the press, like they were all just like so like high strung and just full with like angst. I'm sure like Yang kind of picked that up, and because he is such like I feel like he's such a empathetic person, and he does like soak up the energy of other people. So I feel like, I don't know him, but I feel like if there was like a lot of tension in that area, then he probably picked that up too, which also kind of threw him off his game. So I feel like, although yes, I do agree that like I wish he would have called more attention to the mic thing, it probably would have backfired, because it probably would have came off very awkward, very like weird. I'm thinking in a perspective of like, if I was a person that was just tuning in and it's an average viewer and I didn't know anybody, I would probably think, who's this guy that's like already everything's already a mess and people are already talking over each other? Who is this guy that's like also calling attention to himself? I can see that kind of going sideways as well. Even though as Yang gangsters, we probably would have been like, yay, he's talking more. We probably would have been more excited. But I think that I am glad that things happened the way they did, because it did make people question, okay, who is this quiet Asian guy that's like not talking? It did do that. It allowed people to be curious about him without like being annoyed and having like a bad first impression necessarily, first off. So I think that was good. I think most people, talking about like an average person's perspective, they probably either just forgot that Yang was there because he didn't talk, or they thought that, who's this guy that he's talking about like $1,000 a month? What's this all about? And then they probably forgot about it at the end. Or some people were like legit, like, who is this guy that they're not talking to? Who is this Asian guy that they're not talking to? And then it also spiked their curiosity. And if, of course, you're on Twitter the night of or the day after, you would have known that, like, okay, Let Yang Speak was trending, I think, second. Maybe it was trending first, but I know it was trending at least second on Twitter. And you would have known, like, okay, like, okay, of course, like, people care about this guy. Let me look into him a bit more. Well, first of all, you're probably like, who the heck is Yang? And then you looked up, like, okay, it's the Yang from the debates that I watched. And then you're like, okay, let me see who this guy is. Okay, that did happen. I actually link the video of, like, the person that she said that did happen to, a YouTuber. I forget her name, but, like, I just, like, saw her because of Yang, so, like, I forgot your name. But I'll link your video in the description below. Anyway, so that was one thing that the Lynsight guys did say that I agree with, but then, like, I guess I don't agree with, but, like, it is what it is. It's such a complicated situation. But I will say this. I will give Yang, me personally, I will give Yang full freaking permission to go all out and do just that in the next debates, and any upcoming debates that they want to decide to, like, mute his mic, or, like, for even a split second. I don't care if he's been talking for, like, 8 minutes and then they mute his mic. Be like, hey, my mic is mute, excuse me, like, haha. And, like, honestly, I feel like any candidate that happens to should say, hey, excuse me, my mic is muted. If they earn the right to get on that debate, if they met all the requirements, everybody should have a chance to speak. If the format is how it is, and, like, you can just interrupt whenever, then you should be able to interrupt whenever. And that brings on a whole different conversation. Like, I'll even link down the Your Nerds for Yang video that Tom made, about how he thinks that, like, CNN will be the best format for the debates in July, which I kind of agree with him, being like, honestly, everybody's mic should be off unless they were asked a question, and guess what? Everybody should be asked a fair amount of questions, not just 2. That would be the most fair thing to do, so you can avoid people talking over each other, people making freaking, like, monologues and soliloquies, and Kamala Harris and people to judge, like, scripted BS. Anyway, I do get, if the format still stands that you can interrupt, I will be so glad if Andrew Yang went up to Rachel Maddow's mic and was like, hey, listen, my mic is off. That'd be so lit. Anyway, that'd be so freaking lit. Yes, so the other thing that the Lynsight guys pointed out was that, you know, if things did happen the way they did in the June debates, if Yang was, like, quiet, he only got 2 to 4 minutes to speak in the July debates, would you still support him? And one of the guys said no, and the 2 others, I believe, said yes, they would still, I think, because, you know, the reasoning behind the guy that said he wouldn't is because he doesn't want a person that will not fight for, his message to get out there. You know, he doesn't want another Obama that's, like, says all this crap, all this filler, and when he gets into office and when there's actually a spotlight on him, that he won't really do anything. He'll cave into the pressures of everybody else and will just kind of just cower down. And I mean, personally, I will still support Yang, even if, man, if he did worse, that'd be pretty rough. I may have to reconsider, maybe. But if he did as okay or as good, depending on who you are, in July debates, I would definitely still support him, because I do agree that, like, the message is still strong enough, and I think that Yang, oh boy, I think he still has it in him to carry out what he, at least the UBI, the freedom dividend, what he promised if he does get into office, or when he does. I'm pretty sure he will. Like, I'm, like, in that, like, okay, he will win camp, but still, I will still support him, because I argue with the other 2 guys in the video. They're like, yeah, like, I think it's still worth it to fight for him, because I don't see myself really supporting any of the other candidates as much as I'm supporting Yang. You know, I just don't see it. So yeah, that's one thing. What are the points that they made? I think that was, like, the main thing that I wanted to go over. That yes, I wish that Yang had more talking time, but then again, it did, the way that things happen was good as well. Even though it appears like he's the one that one of the losers of the debate based on people's reactions and based on the aftermath. He was one of the winners of the debates. He got a lot of press and a lot of attention on him because of the whole debacle, you know? So in that perspective, Yang did do okay. But then again, you know, come the July debates, all bets are off. Yang, you better fight. And then they also showed the video or the clip of, I don't give a shit about the Biden administration having a spot in there, meaning that he's not going to like pander to Biden to get like a spot in there. Like it's either him or nothing. Which I'm like, yes, Yang, we need that Yang. I know it's in him. I know that Yang is there. He just has to get more comfortable in this crazy ass political jungle of people and just find his voice, find his footing, and people are like, well, he better do it fast. And I'm just like, I think he will. Even if he's not 100% in the July debates, I would say like at least if he's like a solid 70%, like rah aggressive, then I would be pleased, and then in the September debates, that's when he really has to be like 100%, like, this is who I am. Yes, I'm kind, I'm compassionate, I'm humble, I'm respectful, but I am very aggressive. I'm willing to fight for these people that are putting me up on the stage in the first place, which he did mention in his closing in the first debates, but he really has to hammer that in. He really has to hammer in, like, listen, the reason why I'm up here is because of the people. It's not because of, some, like, corporate, like, company or corporate, like, CEO that's, like, giving me money that wants whatever. Average people have put me up here, which first of all shows that, like you said, our democracy, or what we would aspire to be a democracy, does in fact work, and that the people do matter the most. Because look at this, like look at what all the Yang Gang has done, especially by the July debates. We are spreading the word like wildfire. Like people are doing like fire events. I'm doing the freaking Yang bucks. Like, yes, it's a $10 bill I'm gonna give right now. KCON, I'm still at KCON, New York. People are doing a lot. Yeah, I just, what can I say? I like the video. Don't give the guys too much hate. Lynsight guys they gave me this idea, okay? I didn't come up with this myself. They did this, so give them tons of credit. Give them tons of love. And guys, let's yang up. Let's do this shit. Oh. Okay, anyway. Links are in the description. Thank you guys for watching. 안녕. 사랑해요.